A little late. I've been doing things. But we are still drinking some coffee. Have some coffee. You'll feel better. Welcome, bow betters. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke, where we discuss MMA gambling, mixed martial arts, cigars, drinks, libations. The Yeti's there. The Yeti's there. Test, test. Welcome, bow betters. Yeah, my something's up with my Yeti microphone. It's pretty reliable. I don't know if it's something with the cable, but welcome, bow betters. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, look at all these vacates the belt. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke, where we discuss MMA. We discuss MMA gambling. Some, people want me to show you the tickets. We don't need to show you the tickets, right? We know what we're betting. We're not lying to you. We are fully transparent here at About Better. You're going to get my picks. You're not going to have to be behind a paywall. I can give you some quick picks later on, sort of in the stream, but welcome, About Betters. Let's see if anybody decides to join us here today. Let's see. Very excited to just be here, right? Just excited about life, people. Sometimes you just got to take the positive, take the lemonade. Don't worry about the lemons, right? When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, but now, you know what? When life gives you lemons, have the lemons. Cut up the lemons, put it into maybe with some pork, maybe with just some water, right? Just some water. Oh, there I go. Welcome, bow betters. Welcome to MMA Sip and Smoke. Yeah, people, I don't have any slides in here for you today, right? I can show you if you want to. Some people want to discuss the card. We've already discussed the card. I've mentioned some of what my picks might be. Please go to the content that we have already provided to you. Let me try something here. People here. Or is that, no, I have that in the banner. I guess I could make myself smaller. And I shouldn't be looking up all the time. But welcome, bout betters. Yeah, so already saturated in terms of what people are talking about. We know that there's been some shakeups. What happened? Well, my biggest question is what happened to Shavkat Rakhmonov? Why did Shavkat Rakhmonov get passed up, get booted, get screwed by the UFC? And I know why, and we know why, because he doesn't speak English. That's why Dana's a prejudiced motherfucker. I'm gonna say that. I can say that we're an adult channel. Have some coffee, you'll feel better. I don't get a lot of traffic from you. What is going on? Why is my mic continuously going in and out? I got to keep an eye on it. Maybe not touch it. I apologize for the sound issues there. I'm gonna have to really investigate that with the this Yeti microphone and just make certain not to touch it. So, if you didn't hear me before, yeah, I'm the biggest loser out of this is Shavkat Rakhmonov. I don't know if he's injured. I don't know why the UFC decided to not get into the Shavkat Rakhmonov business because there are translators, people that like MMA, and Dana doesn't market his fighters anyways. So what does it matter if they speak English? What does it matter what language they speak? Because Dana doesn't promote any of the fighters anyways, whether they speak English, whether they speak Spanish or Russian or friggin' Lithuanian, or it doesn't matter, or Farsi or Arabic. It doesn't matter what they speak. Dana doesn't support the fighters. He doesn't promote them and he doesn't support them. So what is it? How is it that Shavkat can be bypassed in this? I can't believe it. I don't like it. I don't think Jack Magdalena deserves the championship. I think it's an easier matchup for sure for Bilal Muhammad. And that's the other big winner out of this. Like the two big winners are Alexander Volkanovski and in the case of Bilal Muhammad as well as Jack Magdalena, both of those guys are big winners, especially Bilal Muhammad. But who's going to buy that pay per view? Like even Jack Magdalena isn't a big seller, right? And we know that Bilal Muhammad is not a big seller. And I'm sorry, I would tell that I live in Chicago. I could talk to Bilal, and he might disagree with me, and that's fine. I would be honest with him, like, hey, like Dana once said in 8 Diaz, you're not a big draw. Prove me wrong. I'm hoping he gets paid. Please, pay the man. Pay Bilal. Works hard. Good to other fighters. Earned his keep for sure. I mean, he's a deserved champion, and look what he did to Leon Edwards. He's styled on Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards made him look good. The improvement is there, but and it's not even personality. It's not Bilal's fault. It's Dana's fault. It's not Bilal's responsibility to market himself and to sell himself to the UFC minions, right? To the UFC community, right? I'm good. I'm still going through that. It's not his responsibility, right? So I'm just skeptical what the UFC is doing here. I don't think, maybe this is a penny wise, dollar foolish. I think what they're doing, they're saving money. They're saving money by bringing in all these guys, with the exception of Alexander Volkanovski. He is getting the big friggin' steak. He's getting the big old, the tomahawk steak, the Australian fucking Wagyu, the big tomahawk steak with an Australian Cabernet wine. That's what fucking Volkanovski's getting. He's getting the big platter. He's not getting the tray. He's not getting a dish. He's getting a fucking goddamn table. He's getting, royalty bringing in, like ceremony bringing in the meat for Alexander Volkanovski. And it's a great fight for Volkanovski. Great fight for him. But it's still not, I'm not clear what the UFC's objectives on this other than to fill space. I have no idea. It doesn't benefit. It could benefit from Jack Magdalena getting the title, and then he goes back to Australia, where I think just Dana loves. Who doesn't want to go to Sydney or Perth, right? Who doesn't want to go to Australia? I bet all the fighters love going to Australia too, even though it's a long trip. Dana, a lot of incredible things have happened in Australia. It's a beautiful country. I bet it's a lot of fun, and people stay there. I'd rather go to Australia than Dubai. I'd rather go to Australia than Saudi Arabia. I'd rather go to Australia rather than Ireland or France. Not Italy. I think they should have a UFC Italy in the near future, but they're not doing that. Or Spain. I would rather go to Spain than Australia. Right? They could have had Ilia Topuria in Spain. Something is amiss. Something is awry. I don't know what Ilia Topuria is doing, why he would vacate the belt. Maybe he was given an offer he couldn't refuse. I think that may be more of the case than anything, that he didn't do it freely. Like, they gave him and provided him an incentive to uh, vacate the belt. Otherwise, why do it? It makes no sense to vacate the belt. And in terms of Bilal, how Shavkat maybe is injured, I doubt it. We saw him in an interview very recently, so I'm confused on what the actual goal is here, and I'm not particularly happy about it. I do not like the matchup. It's a great matchup for Bilal Muhammad. So if Dana wanted to get out of the Bilal Muhammad business, I think he's helping Bilal out with Jack Magdalena. I don't think that you could have put a better opponent in for Bilal Muhammad at this time than Jack Magdalena, right? So this is all big news, but why? What and do really we as fans benefit? I think we do in terms of Lopes versus Volkanovski. I think that's a very good competitive matchup, and Lopes is the biggest winner. Yeah, no, he's not the biggest winner here. I think the biggest winner it would have to be between is Volkanovski, because I don't think Volkanovski was gonna see a rematch immediately. I think he's the biggest winner, and then Bilal. Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, Bilal, Jack Magdalena, both of them are winners. Bilal already had that. He just is blessed now with a lesser opponent, right? Shavkat against Jack Magdalena. I will take Shavkat 8 out of 10 times winning that match. 8 out of 10 times, I will take Shavkat Ramonov. I don't care how well, and that's who else got screwed. The Irishman over here, the Cook guy. God, my memory is just horrible. But no, more of Shavkat got screwed, right? And Jack Magdalena running away with it. Like, run with it, Jack. Run with it. You know what I mean? Like, run with it, right? I mean, Patty Pimlet, what's next for him? To Yair Rodriguez versus Pitbull. That's actually really good. You know, I think the more fighters that we could get from the PFL that were in Bellator into the UFC, the better, right? The better. It's just much better, right? I just don't get it, right? We're gonna find out more as time goes on as of why Taporia vacated the belt. But wow, 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 wow. I mean, it's big news because this shouldn't have been happening, right? It shouldn't have been happening. Jack Magdalena shouldn't be fighting Bilal Muhammad. Leon Edwards, I think, why didn't they get a rematch with Leon Edwards? Why does he have to fight Brady? He's gonna kill Brady. Edwards is just gonna be there still for the championship and for the rematch. And then, looking at other breaking news is that you look at Chandler versus Patty Pimlet, which I think is a great matchup for him. Like, that was a good move. That could sell a card. But if Patty's smart, and I think, and he has a preference for Michael Chandler, and Michael Chandler does sell cards and always is an exciting fighter, they put him on the undercard of one of these. Is that what it is? Or is it just they're going to head sort of UFC Miami, like UFC 314, right? So maybe they had that card. I haven't looked at all the cards yet. I'm more interested in that the UFC coming back to Kansas City as well as Iowa, right? Because I'm here in Chicago, so we could see those fights locally, and it's always fun to go to a UFC event, especially at those venues. If back in Kansas City and Iowa, which are a little smaller venues, it's going to be must see. Those events in a smaller place where you're not at like the lo-fi stadium, or you're not at T-Mobile Arena, or there's plenty of T-Mobile arenas, but you're not at a big arena. Yeah, I mean, it's just great. And you're in a small town, so you get to see a lot of the fighters. You will meet them, right? So what does it do for the landscape? Again, there is nobody regulating and monitoring. The UFC determines who the rankings. They determine who wants to fight, right? There is not these independent organizations because there's the Muhammad Ali Act. in boxing, where the titles belong to these organizations that are independent of the promoters. In the case of the UFC, we don't have that. The promoter, the managers, the marketers, the people that make all the money is all the UFC. It is a monopoly. Just because they have competitors doesn't necessarily mean they're not even competitors. Just because there is other product out there doesn't necessarily mean that they're a competitor. The PFL, as we saw Bellator, you thought it was a competitor? No. Went to the PFL. The PFL is not a competitor of the UFC. Completely different product, completely different model, completely different, not different audience, but it's not generating revenue. I agree with Aaron Pico. The PFL is not going to be here in 2 years, possibly. They're running thin, right? They're getting their show out there. I watch it, but I think BKFC is the next martial art that's vastly. It's already surpassed competitive jujitsu, right? So competitive jujitsu's gone. It surpassed already the combat karate. Right, that's gone. It surpassed the kickboxing. Like BKFC is legit. It's not competition to the UFC because it's completely different, but it's a fighting martial arts model that is going to work. It is going to have sustenance. It is going to sustain itself. It is going to make money, and it's a good thing for everyone involved in, as fans as MMA, as well as gamblers. But what is this? What is it with this card now? Right? There could have been so many other people, right? Even if Poirier was moving up to fight Islam Makhachev, why would he have to vacate the belt? I mean, they paid him or gave him an incentive or more money to vacate. Said, okay, if you want to go to, because nobody else had to do that. Conor didn't have to do that. Triple C didn't have to do that. Cejudo didn't have to do that, right? Alexander Volkanovski didn't have to do that. He didn't have to vacate any of his belts, right? These moving up in weight class does disrupt the divisions quite a bit. I still don't have nobody in my chat, and I am here. And I get it, people. You get your MMA news from a lot of other sources, and they're saying things more concisely. They're probably more entertaining, as well as more charismatic than I am. But I am the bout better, and I'm not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere. I'm going to stick with this. I don't care if I only have 342 subscribers. I'm here for the long haul. I'm here for it. I want all that smoke, right? I want all that smoke. I could troll on some other people pretty hard, but it ain't gonna get me nowhere, right? Even if I say that we want picks, they might as well be called we want dicks, right? Because they're just dicks. They're not really about your fans. They're grifters. They want your money. Same with Jesse on Fire, who's not on fire. He's on fire in his own head. He's burning hot because he's got TRT, and he has to take. He's just not. Right? He's just not on fire. He's a leech. He's a grifter. Who else I want to talk about? Who else you want to mention? Right? Most of the other people I see out there aren't horrible. Like even MMA Joey, not horrible. The kid is prepared. He's prepared. He puts out some content. He's not focused on the gambling thing. He's more on the news and the gossip, and that's fine. He doesn't do a horrible job of it. I can't come at him, right? Because he sticks to his lane and he's decent with it. Whereas like somebody Jesse on Fire is just a clickbait whore. He will fabricate, lie, deceive, and just create anything to get clicks. That's his objective. And and he's getting paid. He's getting it. I don't know if he's got another job. He says he does. Thankfully, props to him that he's getting paid from doing it. But there are a lot of grifters here online, and I've been talking about them for a long time, man. Years I've mentioned the grifting, and I've mentioned the poor commentating and the poor judging and the poor matchmaking and and this what we have right now with Dana doing this. The only people that benefit from this shakeup is Dana White and the UFC, because they're going to pay less money, right? And we're going to buy the pay-per-views. They're not going to be great. The pay-per-views are not going to be selling great. Here's a good question for you people, and you can mention it in the comment section since no one's here. Which pay-per-view sells more, right? Which bout sells more? The Alexander Volkanovski Lopes bout or the Magdalena Bilal Muhammad fight. I'm pretty certain because there's a Mexican fighter who has Brazilian background and Australian who's a previous champ. I'm almost 1,000%. I would bet $1,000 that Lopes and Volkanovski sells by far a lot more tickets and pay per view than Bilal Muhammad and Jack Magdalena. If I would hope if I were Patty's manager, I would get us on one of those pay-per-views. I wouldn't want to unless I don't know what they're offering for a fight night. If they're offering good money for a fight night, then I would do that. Sure, I'm going to do your fight night. If you pay me good money for a main card, sure. Which Chandler, I think they might do that, and it might be a good thing for ESPN and the UFC. I think the UFC is just benefiting most from this, right? I think they're going to keep Chandler and Patty off of one of those pay-per-view cards. They're going to put them on a fight night, not in Vegas, not at the Apex, but somewhere else where they could sell some tickets, and they're going to put butts in the seat. And it might be Miami. They're going to do that. Should be a pretty decent card. In fact, let me see if MMA stats or UFC stats already has those cards up there as we continue to let people into. There's nobody in the stream, guys. Man, I really want to smoke a cigar. Upcoming Cop and Alamabayev. Wow, that is in Vegas, right? Pieta Anaklayev in Vegas. But that's a pay-per-view. It's got to be, it's not in the Apex. That's got to be at T-Mobile Arena. Vittori versus Dolitze 2. Edwards versus Brady in London, England. That's a fight night. Right? Really big mistake by Edwards. Got fucking screwed. Edwards is screwed. So is Moreno versus Usyk in Mexico City in a fight night. Moreno's getting screwed. But Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pfeiffer, that's a really good fight. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Kevin Borraes. Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober, good fight right there. Lupe Godina versus Julia Polostori. Jump on Lupe Godinez right now. Rafa Garcia versus Hakeem Silva. That's a good matchup. That's a really good card. Jose Daniel Medina versus Gautier. They don't have our other guy. Edgar Chiares versus CJ Vergara. And CJ, I've lost faith in that guy. But they do not have Zellhuber on here. What a big mistake that is, not having Zellhuber on a Mexico City card. Big mistake. UFC fight night. Diana Belbita versus Dion Barbosa. Oh my God! Like, what are they? What is the UFC doing? It is a fight night though, and then Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Magdalena is going to be in Quebec, and they have Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. Awesome. That should have been the main event. No lie here. The quality of fighting between Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot is far superior to Bilal Muhammad versus Jack Magdalena. They should have put Valentina. Hopefully Valentina gets paid. And then Alexa Grasso was probably back up for that fight versus Natalia Silva, and Barrialt versus Bruno Silva. Man, what a matchup between Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fiorot. I still have to favor Valentina. And if she beats Fiorot, she should just walk off, man. She's got nothing to prove, and is there anybody else that would challenge her? Like, this is her last challenge, I think, for years, of somebody who really has a serious chance of beating the living crap out of her. Manon Fiorot is no joke, but I think UFC 315 in Montreal, which is great. They're going back to Canada. Love Canadians. Love Montreal. Love Vancouver, of course, and British Columbia. Good two fights. I think it should Valentina and Manon Fiorot should be the main event instead of Bilal Muhammad and Jack Magdalena. Very disappointed in that. What's up, hashtag? JDM and Bilal are both sick. Yeah, I'm not a big JDM fan, but I'm actually a Bilal fan. I love his improvement. Right? I don't care what people, if they don't like that style that he has. His striking's gotten better, much better. His striking defense is excellent, much better now, Leon. And then His wrestling is always there. But I'm more excited to see Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fiorot. I mean, for me as a fan, I'm more excited to see that fight than Bilal Muhammad and Jack Magdalena. That's just me. That's just me. I still just don't like. Thanks for joining the stream, Leon. I still don't like what's happening. I think it's what the UFC is intentionally spreading themselves thin to milk the fighters. Milk us. They're going to make some top heavy pay per views, some very top heavy fight nights, and then it's going to sell, right? We're going to pay for it. Right? He says, Neon Estek says, he digs Bilal too, so fucking good at fighting. JDM has the best offensive boxing. Yeah, JDM's boxing. But he's going to need more of that than boxing to beat somebody like Bilal. Like the other thing that Bilal has is a tremendous fight IQ. He's working with all the right people here in his own camp here in Chicago. He travels, right? He's gone to Dagestan and to Dubai and worked out with of course, all the Russians and Dagestanis there. He just does everything right. Like he's got a very good, and Jack Magdalena's got a good fight IQ. I mean, he's a solid fighter, and it is going to be a banger, but I don't know how much of a good banger it is going to be. I'm hoping that Bilal's an underdog, so I'm going to bet on Bilal, and I'm hoping he fucking lays on him like a fucking wet towel. That's all I care about. I don't want to see Bilal lose his title to Jack Magdalena. I'd rather see him lose it to somebody like Shavkat Rakhmonov or even Ian Gary, right? Or even Leon Edwards. So have some coffee, everybody. You'll feel better. What are they like in Norway, Leon? Are they coffee drinkers, or in Europe, in that part of Europe, are you guys more tea? Interesting cultural stuff. Leon thinks, all right. Well, hey, put your money where your mouth is, Leon. You know this channel. You know me for a year or two now. You've been watching. I put my money where my mouth is. I'll tell you when let me see if the odds are out on that, and then we'll get back to you. Or maybe we can make a personal bet, Leon. Although shipping something to Norway is very expensive. We could do like a nice Norwegian sweater versus a t-shirt, a cheap fucking Bout Better t-shirt. Actually, it cost me like $20 to make a t-shirt, but I do have them. I do have actually Bout Better t-shirts. Let me I don't think he's gonna get that knockout, man. Bilal is crafty, man, and he's got a chin. He's moves well. I mean, let's see here. Made my play there. Let's see if I see anybody as we're looking. Manel Kopp is a favorite against Asu Alambayev. Yeah, that's because he's going to be able to move and strike. All right, let's see. Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. Justin Gaethje is a favorite against Daniel Hooker. Man, I'm surprised that's not even money. Pieta is a slight favorite against Aniklev Makhmadov. Jan Blachowicz dog against Carlos Zuberg. Man, I'm thinking of putting something on Jan Blachowicz now. I think Carlos Zuberg is just a class below Jan Blachowicz. I think Jan Blachowicz might be one of the most underrated UFC fighters there is. See? Oh, Leon is saying coffee by far. Interesting. Okay. Chandler versus Patty Pimlet. Patty opens as the favorite. Yeah, I think because it's Patty's jiu-jitsu. Gilbert Burns, Michael Morales. Michael Morales should not be a minus 395 favorite over Gilbert Burns. No way. Burns, good fight IQ. Older. All right, Volkanovski opens as a favorite against Diego Lopez. I might jump on Lopez right now. Bilal Muhammad is a huge, big favorite over minus 245 favorite over Jack Magdalena. You weren't here earlier, Leon. I was mentioning that this was a gift to Bilal. Because Bilal would have been an underdog against Shavkat. He would have been the underdog. And minus 245, I'm not going there. I mean, for that odds, for the plus 200, you almost might as well put the money on Jack Magdalena because it's a better payout. They still have a line for Dan Hooker versus Conor McGregor when Hooker's already signed up for something. And John Jones, an underdog against Aspinall, right? So it's crazy what's going on. It's crazy, people. Yeah, I mean, I'm confident in Bilal's ability. I think he's going to stay away, and that's the only way I think that Jack Magdaleno wins, because he's going to be put up against the cage. Uh, Bilal's so good at that, just grinding his wins, grinding people against the cage, getting them on the ground. He's gotten better movement. He's worked with a boxing coach here, that's a very good like boxing coach that trains professional boxers. And what Leon, you might not be aware, and a lot of people aren't aware. Chicago still got a great history and has got great boxing. We've got people that just be that they go other places, right? They end up going to other places to train, whether Arizona or Vegas or California. But Chicago has a very good, sound, fundamental boxing community. So Leon saying he's agree with those odds, but I think JDM will win despite the odds being against him. Uh, yeah, do you think Bilal dominates until he gets KO'd? Yeah. I think, that's one thing about JDM. Even though he tires, he still has that knockout power. At any time, it could happen. And it's going to be there because Bilal just doesn't really have that finishing ability. It's not, yeah, he's got, two finishes, a couple finishes, but very few. Like, he's a decisionator for sure. And Leon, Leon must have like a desk job or a remote job because he's always active online in the daytime and early. Um, but thank you for joining the stream. Yeah, man, all the way from Norway, man. Definitely want to get out there. Definitely want to get out to Norway someday. Have some coffee, you'll feel better, and I have some coffee. We have great coffee here in the United States, right? We're close to a lot of, you know, coffee. I think the majority of coffee comes from Brazil, but at the store I shop at, and it's a discount store. It's Aldi, which is probably a German store, which they probably have in Norway too. Uh, you could get Guatemalan coffee, you get Sumatran, we have Colombian. I don't have the Indonesian. I think I have. So it's 7:15 there in the evening, right? So it's prime time. I'm assuming. Is that what you mean? So we have a lot of great coffee here. A lot of great coffee in the U.S. Good tea, but man, the coffee here in the U.S. we're very fortunate. Most people, even though we have all this great coffee, and there's nothing wrong with Starbucks coffee. Starbucks has great coffee, right? Great coffee as well. But we drink a lot of coffee here. Drink some coffee, you'll feel better. I had two interviews today, which went well. That's why I'm in a good mood, um, and hopefully I could continue this good mood. And I wasn't able to get on earlier because I had those commitments to fulfill. He's gonna start a little gaming session with the boys, hanging with the boys, hanging with the boys. Isn't that what this guy said in in Tough when he was all drunk? Cody, what was Cody's last name? Hanging with the boys when he was all drunk, hanging with the boys, and didn't he fall off, man? Poor, I wouldn't say poor guy. Um, Cody, come on, Cody, and I'm gonna put uh, Team Alpha Male. Man, Cody should have fucking, yeah, Cody Garbrandt, man. Yeah, I mean, had everything. He was actually in interviews. Commercials. The UFC didn't promote him, but he was with condoms. He was with dick pills and was on various commercials. Good looking guy, well spoken, comes from a decent background. He's not like a scumbag, right? Like so, man, just fell off. Wouldn't it have been great if Cody Garbrandt actually connected on Conor McGregor during the filming of Tough and connected and got some in. That might have changed both of their careers drastically. It would have changed Conor's career, and it could have changed it currently. And they still have history, just like. And Conor's not going to fight any of them. I agree with Rampage Jackson. The Conor's not doing BKFC. He's not doing MMA. Like he mentioned the numbers. It's not. It's not in his interest. Like the only thing he would do right now is the Paul brothers. He's going to fight Jake or the other Paul brother, or a rematch with Mayweather. Maybe a Pacquiao bout. Maybe a fight with our Mexican friend here, right? Like he's not going to. All right, Leon, I'm going to be out of here soon too, man. You enjoy your gaming. Thanks for joining, everybody. Thanks for joining. I don't have much more to say. There's not much, but have a good stream. We're just babbling on here during coffee talk. Coffee talk. Have some coffee. You'll feel better. But where does this all going? We all, what is Topuria and Makachev going to open as? Makachev's got to be a huge favorite. I don't even know why Topuria would want to go there because I don't think Topuria has a hard time cutting to 145. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants that champ legacy, right? It's not as unique any longer, but it's still very special. And as a fighter, I can understand why especially in MMA, why you'd want to be a multiple division champion, or even a multiple promotion champion. Right, like I think the Pitbull brother has a chance of doing that, right? If he comes to the UFC, and he's who's the Pitbull facing? He's facing Yair Rodriguez, which is not going to be easy. And I think they might have trained together before. So, but the Pitbull brother is coming into the UFC and possibly getting a championship, just like Chandler, he's not going to sniff it. He's not going to get there. He's not going to get to chance to be at 155 and seeing a bell any longer. But that would have been a great accomplishment. You're a Bellator champion and a UFC champion. Some people might say no, that's not a big deal, but I would say yes, it is. Even though the Bellator is gone, I still think it's an accomplishment, right? So, but we're not going to see that. It's Bellator is what it is, and we'll see how the Pitt brothers do. Have some coffee, you'll feel better. Have some coffee, you'll feel better. But that's the news, people. I'm confused by it, but not. I think it's good business for the UFC. It's in their benefit that this occurs, right? But this weekend, of course, we have Cejudo Song Your Dong. Let me see how long I've been going here. 37 minutes, is that it? Hopefully that's about it. That's all right. We could stop the stream there. Yeah, we could stop the stream at any point here, people. No one's in the chat really to comment and bounce ideas off of, but let me know in the comments section that I'm going to be done here right now what you guys think of all this news, who you might think are winning these matchups, and what is in the future for all these after, right? After they fall. Does Ilya come back, right? And face Volkanovski again, which will suck. Or does he face Lopes, which he might have done anyways? So Tokoria's in a win-win situation if indeed he is going to be getting a 155 title shot, which I think he may do. I wouldn't if I were him, but it is what it is. If the juice is worth the squeeze, then go on ahead and do it, Ilya. I think it would have been better to, but as he claims, he thinks he wiped everybody out, that he had wiped everybody out. But if you've made it this far, folks, you are about better. I appreciate your commenting, liking, and subscribing. Especially, commenting would be good. I don't get anybody to comment, but we are going to continue to be going live. We're going to continue to make products. We're going to continue to make content, I should say. We're going to continue to review products. We're going to continue to review cigars. We're going to continue to do EDC and product reviews. I got my news, some magazine pouches. Right? This stuff's good. Cheap, works good. Molly, connect to your gun belt. You wear it on your belt. Connect to your your plate carrier, whatever you need, guys. Connect to your backpack. That's why the mollies are on there. If you have molly, you can connect these to your backpack. I'm not going to go there right now, but yes, we're going to continue to do this type of content. So if you made it this far and you're interested in any of this stuff, please comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I appreciate you guys.